Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Herschel Foran.
What's up, everybody? It's Herschel Foran from High School Top 200, and welcome back to the Monday Morning Media Podcast. I am Herschel Foran. I run High School Top 200. I do everything for High School Top 200, and I do it with a bunch of love, because if I didn't love this, I would have stopped ages ago. Now, welcome back to another week. Is this the first time you've heard of me or listened to me or anything like that, my name is Herschel Foran. Go join on all the socials like Facebook on High School Top 200, HS Top 200 on TikTok and also Instagram, and jump on the YouTube page as well. Pretty much where you're listening to this from. I'm still coming up with some segments that I can do, like shorter ones of this, but long form stuff, at least I get to talk it out and sort of listen to my own thoughts at the same time and reevaluating what I say and if I agree with myself or not. I'm kind of just hearing it out. But for now, jump on all the socials, have a listen, follow, like, comment, all that kind of stuff, ask me questions and whatever. And then I'll answer your questions. Also jump on to hstop200.com, $5 subscription for the month, and you'll get all the rankings and stuff. Like today, the new rankings for schools will go up. There is a change in the top 25 rankings, which you want to be a part of, for the national rankings, with some like pretty heavy upsets, ones that are kind of alarming, some that are not. Some that are kind of a bit reassuring also, and just some wins and losses that are sort of starting to make up my mind of what I think a team is, or what I think that team is, or where they're going, all kind of stuff like that. But if you want to jump on and hstop200.com, $5 subscription for the month, and you get all the rankings and stuff like that, all the write-ups, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my insecurities, all that kind of stuff. And then anything you want to know, just let me, anything that you want to know, ask me questions, just ask, and then I'll answer it on here, or I'll just get back to you. I'm I'm alright with communicating back and forth with people. I just don't want to deal with dickheads, if you're going to ask me a question, don't try and beat around the bush with stuff like that. I'm pretty open to that kind of stuff. I will start off with this with my thoughts on, and I hope everybody has read it, but if you haven't, New Zealand Rugby put out a statement about New Zealand secondary schools, and they've gone back to sort of the old format, but they have made it so it's called New Zealand secondary schools, but they've opened it up to some under 18. So it is really just what they said it was going to be before, without the New Zealand under 18s being picked after that. So this is the final New Zealand team, which is kind of what I had a problem with before. Is like I didn't understand the picking New Zealand secondary school, then picking like a New Zealand under 18s. When you used sort of like the trial games of under 18 Māoris and all that kind of stuff with the Barbarians, all as sort of a trial team and one extra team. Whereas I would have just left it to the regions and have the regions select everybody that's under 18, make it a Chiefs under 18s or Blues under 18s or whatever, and then pick an under 18 team from there. Don't pick a New Zealand secondary schools and then pick an under 18 after that, because then kind of demeans what this New Zealand secondary school, legacy that it's sort of built up over the past whatever years. It sort of diminishes it, and they're trying to start off with a new kind of under 18 system, which is won't be looked at the same as if you made New Zealand secondary schools. And so that was the problem I had. I also had a problem with the fact that they were getting coaches from outside of school, outside of the schools, and outside of coaches that coach inside schools. And my whole thinking around this was that you're getting coaches that are club coaches and professional coaches that don't know how to deal with kids and don't know how to deal with that level of I would say immaturity, because these are still kids that are still learning, and you're trying to get full professional coaches or club coaches who deal with adults and, you know, that kind of personality where our kids are different. And I would rather have teachers and faculty that coach first 15 rugby and coach at a high level deal with these kids from that same level and from that same understanding, so that it doesn't really change. And sometimes rugby at this level is not the most important thing, especially if you know that if a teacher knows that a kid is struggling with something, they can send something different. They know how to deal with it in that way, instead of giving it to club coaches where it's like, hey, I don't deal with this stuff. Either you come and perform or you don't. Everyone may have that opinion, and everyone may say that kind of opinion. They go, well, this is what you do, this is what you've chosen to do, and you've been selected to do. Go out there and do the job. It's like, it's not that easy. And we've got to stop this trying to be a hard man, like alpha male kind of bull crap that goes around and go, oh, yeah, well, that's what you choose to do, just man up and do it. It's like, there's no such thing as just man up and do it sometimes, because everyone struggles with something. Now, if you choose to move your goalpost of what manning up is, it's like, hey man, that's up to you. But then you're just full of BS in the long run. Even us as adults, even our grandparents, they all struggle with the same thing too. We have some real stubborn grandparents that just can't let go of stuff. Now, if you say that's a man up, you got to man up. It's like, well, how long does it take to be a man? And how many real ones are there? If that's the way that you want to base it on. Because everyone has a problem, you just don't choose what those problems are. Now, when it comes to these kids, we still have to have these kids, be looked after like they're kids, and that they're growing minds and maturing, and they're like maturing minds. And it doesn't just take anyone just to jump in there and tell kids what to do, because some kids just don't react like that. Now, Now, leaving it to the faculty and guys that sort this stuff out every single day, all these teachers that sort this stuff out, they know how to talk to some of these kids, and some of these kids aren't the easiest to talk to. I got a 15-year-old girl. She still doesn't understand the same thing that I've been telling her for the last 5 years. And it might just take a teacher who's a bit different to say the same thing, and then they'll get it. Just the frustrations of being a parent, but that's just kind of how it is. I wasn't comfortable with the fact that you'd bring in someone who's not part of the education system, not part of the everyday interacting with kids, trying to coach our rugby boys when it takes more than just rugby skills and skill sets and IQ to take care of our kids. It takes a lot of attention to personalities and I think like stages in life, like, you know, like for example, last year with Nico Stanley, like, he's a 15-year-old coming into the same team with 18-year-olds, and he's come in as a year 11 or fifth form or whatever you're familiar with, and taking care of someone like him to taking care of someone like Cohen, or, you know, someone like that is different. You know, so like, you wouldn't judge those two things the same, because one boy's finishing his secondary school's career, and the other one's kind of just starting his secondary school career. So like, you wouldn't judge those things the same, or take care of those, take care of them the same as well, depending on what the issue is. So I'm glad that New Zealand Rugby has come out and said, well, we're going to change it back, and, you know, we're going to keep it to New Zealand secondary schools, but we're going to make exceptions for those that are not actually at school, but they're under 18. Now, that's where my problem is it's like, cool, we've got a New Zealand Barbarians team, why can't you just put all those guys into there? You know, why not put all those guys into there and leave it up to the fact that some guys just need a shot at playing guys their own age. Like I understand, because I was also at school at the same time, where I finished school when I was 17, and my birthday wasn't until the end of August. Now that's a long time as a 17-year-old to be. I looked at it as like, well, I don't want to go work with men who have different kind of problems, who don't have sort of like the world in front of them kind of thing, and like they're just, you know, day to day going to work, going to, you know, having drink ups, complaining about their wives and kids. I was like, cuz I'm only 17, bro. Why do I want to talk to you about that kind of stuff? You know, you're going to put a 17-year-old into adult situations with adult problems, with adult scenarios and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with rugby, is where you've got some of these 17-year-olds who have gone to club rugby because they finished school. They're getting a different experience, but they're always playing against someone who's 26, 27, sometimes 30, whatever. Especially with some of the talent that we have coming out of school. Now we have so many guys that are, you know, professional level skill sets, just not physically ready yet. Now these boys, to me, these 17-year-olds that are in club rugby, need to come and play with under 18 players and play with guys that are their own age and their own, you know, just familiarities kind of thing, you know. I would not put them in New Zealand secondary schools, because for one, they're not at school. I would also, though, put them into a Barbarians team, or even another team that's just full of club players, and giving a bunch of guys, because there's so many players around the country that finish when they're 17, they could still come back for another year if they wanted to, but they've just decided to go to university or go to work, or, you know, apprenticeships or whatever. But if you bring all those under 18 guys in together into one team so that they all have the same thing, you know, like they're all at the same time in their life where they felt like they've wanted to move on and whatever, put them all in the team together. You know, put them all in a team together, and pick it early so that these guys can go back to the universities and say, hey, I've been picked for this. Can I have time off for, you know, can I get extended time for this paper, or can, you know, asking for their jobs for work off, and, you know, or they can save money if they're the ones that are, you know, funding their lifestyle, they're going to have to miss out work and all that kind of stuff. Let them be able to pay their bills as well, you know, all those kind of things too. But pick that one early. Like, track guys now. Like, I can track guys after school with, you know, with young year 13s that left. I have a bunch of names of guys who are young year 13s that I kind of look out for as well. But I mean, if I can do it, you guys can do it too as New Zealand Rugby. So it's not going to be hard. You can just follow them through, have scouts within those club areas, just watching them, making sure that they're up to the level that you think they should be at. I would have a separate team for that. Even if you wanted Barbarians to be strictly just a New Zealand, you know, secondary school team, a second team or a third team, because the Māoris are so good, it's like, yeah, just have a separate one. Have Harlequins kind of sponsor it, or Saracens, or whatever, you know, whatever those other kind of, you know, entities are and those organizations are. But I do think that there is a place for them. I just don't think it's in New Zealand secondary schools. I think that it should be in like a New Zealand Leavers or whatever it's called. Name it something, I don't know. But I don't think it's with New Zealand secondary schools. I would keep that as just New Zealand secondary schools. You know, and I would keep it as under 18. Get these guys all in together. And I think that, like, the training, especially with that, is like, because you can pick a whole bunch of guys, like, or even all the guys that get invited to the region teams who are all under 18s, like all the guys that are out of school. I think like the Chiefs had something like 8 or 9 that weren't at school that all got invited to the Chiefs under 18s. If you just get all those players, put them together with the Blues, the Hurricanes, the Highlanders, and the Crusader players, and just make one big team. I don't see how hard that is. Like, that shouldn't be hard. That shouldn't be a hard thing to do. You know, it will, like, give them the decision to go, oh yeah, and because, like, even with the under 18 Māoris, like, I think the under 18 Māoris, I know that they've left it to everybody that's Māori, but I think they should just leave it at a school level, and the under 18s just pick at a school level. Because they've got so much talent everywhere, and the coaching system that they have within the Māori, under 18 Māoris, is so good. I think that they can find a bunch of players there. All you fellas that haven't signed up and you're Māori, send your guys' application in. Make sure that they know that you're Māori, or even all the half-caste Samoan Māoris and Tongan Māoris. Like, you guys put your name in there as well, man. Like, you guys should be up for this. But going back to it, like, I just think that it should be different. There should be a different way to do it. I think to me, the easiest way is just like everyone that gets invited to these under 18 camps, put them all together in a team. I don't see what's so hard about that. And give them their own, their own kind of team, their own level to make, their rep level to make. Even if you brought them all together and then cut like a bunch, like some of them if they just didn't fit. But even use all that levels to get these guys ready for under 19s to make under 20s. I mean, look how many under 18s from last year are all in the under 20s right now. Even guys that were in the Barbarians that missed out in New Zealand secondary schools are now playing in the under 20s that just won. There's a few of them. There's a few of them too. So like, and it's like, this is like a announcement and a bit of a, heads up to everybody. It's just like, if you don't make New Zealand secondary schools, that's fine, bro. You can still make New Zealand under 20s, and you can make it still straight out of high school. Because remember, selections are all opinion based. That's why, like, even this here, what I do is all opinion based. Don't make it so like, oh, Herschel just said this, so this is what it is. It's like, no, this is just my opinion. I need you to go to the games and watch it and go, Herschel, you're wrong. Because I think like this kid is better than this kid, and I think this kid does this well, and he should be ranked higher. I think this team is better than what you've ranked them. Put them up. I think this team is ranked pretty accurately by what you've done, Hirsch, and cool, that's fine. But like, just because you miss out on New Zealand secondary schools, all these reps, these rep teams as well, it's just like selections are just opinion based stuff. Everything is just opinion based. So if you just keep trying out and keep pushing, it's just like, cool, if he didn't want to pick me then, these other guys next year will pick me. And stay within the range of, I'm still here, you can't get rid of me, I'm going to keep playing until I make these teams, and I'm going to keep going till I make professional rugby. All that kind of shit, But I think you should leave it to the 5 regions. Take their selections or players that they had that were not coming to school, put them all into one team, have them play against New Zealand secondary schools, have them play against the under 18 Māoris, and have them play against New Zealand Barbarians and a Pacific Island team. Like, because the other thing is, like, we got a bunch of Japanese guys that are coming down here, which is bloody solid. Like, I like that. I like that. Even the Fijian guys that have come here, like, put all the overseas recruited players, put them all in the team. Help them see what's going on here too. Help them realize that New Zealand is where they want to be. All that kind of stuff. Anyways, I went to a few games this week. I've already been sent a bunch of games. Still haven't I got through a lot of them. I think I've watched 2, 3, 4. I've watched 11 games so far. I've still got another 11 I've got another 9 to go. And so keep sending in these games. Like, I love watching these games. Just keep sending it through. It's been good that everyone's been, sending me games, sending me, footage, even these ones that they do on like, these ones that I've seen on YouTube that I post up on my page. I watch them. It's so great. So cool that all these guys are doing it. And but yeah, so Westlake boys. It's funny too because when I went to Westlake boys on Wednesday, and a game I almost didn't get to. I was so tired. But to me, Westlake was a stronger team. It always felt like Westlake were in control of the game. They were in control of everything. It felt like they moved the ball better, and it felt like they were dictating everything. But then it's like when Tauranga got the ball, it didn't take them long to score. If there was like a time of possession, I think Westlake would have had most of the ball. But every time Tauranga touched the ball, they went through some quick rucks. They really, to me, they won the luck battle. And everything is luck. Like, you have to have luck. And it's whatever you do with that luck and how you use that luck, you can change it into a massive positive for you. To me, that's kind of what Tauranga boys did. Is that when luck was on their side and they noticed it and they noticed these opportunities, they took it and they ended up scoring from it. Even someone like Ethan, who got smacked. He got smacked early in the first half. He kind of like played with a guy that had like a broken rib. And he was always kind of bent over, always sucking for air kind of stuff. But when he got the ball in his hand, he made sort of the right decisions. That's what's so good about Ethan. And Zeke was in the second five, and whenever Ethan touched the ball at center, he just made the right decision. And it wasn't the same thing. Like, he wasn't just giving it and passing it. He was making kicks downfield. He was putting in little grubber. He was like, and even he took the ball in. And I don't know what injury he had, but he was sore. He was sore that whole game. And he must have been just waiting for that final whistle to blow, because, man, he was struggling that whole game, but he stayed in there and he did what he needed to do. And he was up against, Matt, who's like the top year 11, my number one ranked year 11, and he played like it too. His line running was so solid. And it made it easier for Finlay to get through. There was a lot of running space for... I thought there was like... The amount of sequences of rucks that Westlake went through. And this is why I just think that they could have maybe... It's not execution. That's not the word for it, but there was just a lot of stuff that I thought that they should have done, that they had opportunities to shut them down, and then on defense they got a little bit lazy. Like, both teams scored right off the kickoff. Tauranga scored straight away. Westlake scored straight away. And both of them were asleep on defense. And as the game got on, it kind of got better. But I mean, with a high-scoring game, sort of one of a high-scoring game of 29-31 is like that's a lot of points being scored. It's a lot of tries. But Tauranga to me was the stronger. Westlake to me was the stronger team, and Westlake was ranked 10th and Tauranga was ranked 11th, and so there's not much in it, with those 2 points. And they're pretty much around the same thing, but I thought that Westlake should have had that game, and to me they kind of lost it for themselves. Tauranga came out and they took every opportunity, and that's what you win. And sometimes that's just what you need. Like, it's never on the day. Like, it's never like predicted before that you're gonna win. Like, I give my opinions. I don't make predictions. I just give my opinion on who's gonna win and who's gonna lose. But you can never predict. If you step on the field with anybody, there's a chance that you can lose. It's just that the percentages are pushed one way, and the weaker team doesn't have a lot of that percentage. But it doesn't mean that they can't win. I mean, we had a bunch of upsets this week that we didn't think was going to be that, but jeepers. It was just one of those. But Westlake was, Westlake was good. I thought they should have won, but Tauranga just pulled it out. Same thing with like New Plymouth. New Plymouth was kind of the same too, where I expected New Plymouth to win, but the way that Francis Douglas has been playing, especially against Fielding, I thought they were solid against Fielding. They're just like a real grinded out, physical, scrappy kind of team, and I think that's kind of what you need, and I think that's what's kind of what you, for a team that is not stacked with talent like Francis Douglas is, you just have to out effort everybody, and the effort that you put in dictates how your game is going to go. And the other team may have more talented players, but if you grind it out longer than they can grind it out, and you can push past it with just pure determination, you can win. And that's kind of what I think Francis Douglas does, is that there was just pure determination. Every run that they did was on purpose. Every ball that they hit up, you could feel that they were running with some kind of purpose. Even when they cleaned out, like you should see some of the, like, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it on YouTube, but when they cleaned out, it was so massive. And when they ran the ball as well, even their scrums, like I was actually surprised at how good their scrums was. Number 3, who I thought had a massive game for Francis Douglas, sorry, I can't remember what his name is right now. But he had a massive game. Isaiah had a massive game too. What's his name? Gilroy, of the first 5 here, I thought he had a really good game too. Started off a little shaky a bit, but you went into it, you got through it. But ending something that's 10 years like that's massive for those guys, and it's massive for Francis Douglas. But that was like one of those upsets as well. And Luke is, I think, Goodman has got something's wrong with him. Like, he's always hurt. He's just come back from injury. And I hope he's all right, but there's something not right with him. I understand these guys that throw everything into it, but his hurt looks a bit different. Like he's trying to come back too early. And like guys that are year 12, and you've got niggling injuries and injuries that you can't get rid of, like, you might want to take care of that and look to next year. Because some of those injuries can turn into life problems, and I understand being a first 15 player, you're the man at your school and whatever, but you still got a whole nother 50, 60 years, of life to go, and you can't have all those injuries. Can't have injuries like that, especially coming from high school. Anyways, Hamilton boys, man, I know. If you watch the game, go and watch it on YouTube. It's a really, really good game. It's a really good game to watch. The first half was just so good to watch. It was so not just entertaining, but at the same time it was a lot of good rugby from both sides. And if you didn't notice, but Hamilton boys only had 3 caps in their team. And that's never really the case. Hamilton boys was also a reload team. They're not a rebuild team. They're just a reload team. And seeing only 3 caps on their side is different. But they managed to pull off 50 points. Now, like, I don't know how you want to read that, but that is kind of a bit scary against a really good Wellington College team who just beat Hastings boys. To only have 3 cap players and in a Moeska Cup game, dropped 50 points on a team that just beat another top 5 team, and Wellington came into this game a lot more prepared than what Hamilton boys did. Hamilton boys just came back from Japan. They haven't played a game since they've been back. They've probably just been running against their seconds. Guys trying to come back from injuries, little niggles, stuff like that. But that's a scary thought to have them come back like that, and the thing is that with this team is that, especially with the Super 8, and you got Hastings, Palmy, Rotorua and Tauranga, who are really strong teams this year, and bloody Gisborne has picked up themselves this year, and they look like they're a team that you can't really mess around with. And like Gisborne for the most part has been the easy beats in the Super 8. New Plymouth look like that right now. But when you get to the Super 8 and you see Hamilton boys with only 3 caps, they just finished being the national champions last year. You would think that you're going to run over them with them only having 3 caps. And like, I understand, and those 2 of those guys are New Zealand secondary school players. But this is the different Hamilton boys team. And they're more of a team and not individuals. Like even on Saturday, where like Liam again didn't have the game that I thought he was going to have in terms of like throwing him around his physicality, and he had the perfect chance to, because they had Hiram on the other side, Hiram Beetham on the other side, who's another big boy as well, and I just thought that Liam could have threw himself into more of that. Sort of like showed his dominance and what it means to be a New Zealand secondary school player. And that's kind of like the burden of a New Zealand secondary school player, coming back in year 13, after being named to year 12 and coming back year 13, and then you're just supposed to be good. You're just supposed to have all these things done going your way. You're just supposed to be that dominant when it comes to you playing just a normal first 15 game. And for me, it was like a half and half for him. Really good moments, and then some really I don't know where he is moments. And the thing is, like, you can't be I don't know where he is if he's 6'6" and he's like the biggest guy on the field running around. Because sometimes that's kind of how I felt, even with the way that Ollie got the ball too. I understand that Hamilton boys have a system, but I also understand that I have 2 superstars in my team, and I think they should get the ball. And I know that the Hamilton coaches are sorting out what they want to do. It's hard to change what traditionally Hamilton boys have been, and you're coming after a legendary coach, but you still carry Hamilton boys around and that legacy that just came before you. You just have to make sure it goes on. Wellington College in that first half were great, and still the fact that Charisma's not back, and I don't know when Charisma's going to be back, but they need him back. Tom did all right as a year 11 being at fullback. That's great, but you still need Charisma there. Zacchaeus was solid as well. Who was it? Lazarus was solid as well. I really liked his game. Seb did really good. I thought he was great too. Bentley was really good too. The midfielders, Shea and Shea Boshil. I wish Shea got the ball a little bit more too. Wish he got more opportunities. But the second 5 in centre, 1's year 11, 1's year 11, 1's year 12. Can't remember what their names are, but they had solid games too. And it was just that first half, right after the first half. And I think Nathan scored that try. And they ran straight from the kickoff and pretty much ran all the way. You just saw the light in that Wellington team just die and just turn off after that first try was scored right after kickoff. And it really was just all downhill from there. And the positive that you take away from this is that you can make top 4. You can bank on the fact that Hamilton boys might make top 4 as well, even though they got to try and run through Rotorua boys, which is not going to be easy. Which trying to run through Tauranga boys is not going to be easy as either. Wellington, if they can make top 4, they've got all this time. It's only May. They still got another 2 months to make up that team and make up what and who they are, and then they can still push for that that top 4, and hope that they can re-meet Hamilton boys again and win it at stage, and also still get the Moreska comeback. But that second half was just, man, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch these boys have a really good first half, really have that feeling like, hey man, we're in it, we've got to keep doing it, and then kick off, and then 9 seconds later, 12 seconds later, Hamilton boys celebrating. And it's just one of those things that it's just hard to, sort of hard to swallow. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and it was even though it was still a really good game. I kind of looked at it even like the St. Thomas game was like that too against Nelson. I didn't think that one was going to be. I actually thought the scores would have been around the other way around, But Nelson really came back, Nelson had a really good game. Really grinded it out at the end. The Fijian kid, number 11, I can't remember what his name is. He had a really solid game. Same thing with the first 5. That communication was there. What's his name? Joe the hooker. He had a big time game. I really liked what he did. And St. Thomas just weren't. It was so different from what they were beating Christ last week to how they played this week. It just wasn't the same thing. It just wasn't as. Michael played really well. I thought he was really good. Bishop was also okay in flashes. Etsy was real sharp, and he'll probably be a New Zealand secondary school winger. And just the opportunities that he creates from the wing, and even his kicking game is really good too. And he's just hard to lock down as a player. It was really interesting because even on film last year when I didn't really I wasn't sure Etsy was I didn't know if what I was seeing on film was what I was translating. If it was going to translate after, but then when I saw him in the Barbarians when he got picked, I thought, oh shoot, this is what everyone's looking at. And in the film, it didn't really look that way. But he's just such a good player, and even this year he's just stepped up again. He's just stepped up again. But I don't know what was wrong with St. Thomas, and Nelson just kind of look like what they were last year a little bit. Obviously they don't have the big time superstars, and Tom's there as well, but it's just different. But a lot of these guys are going to be back next year, and a lot of these guys are going to be wearing a bunch of caps because these guys are all going to be back. Well, majority of them are all going to be back, so it's going to be a different Nelson team. But this year is going to be a good learning period for them, and it was good that they got a win against St. Thomas, who's like a legitimate top team. They just have to put it together, and they have to put it together each week. That's the other thing, man. Like Miles Toyota's like premiership is like you just got to put it together every single week, and you can't like feel like, oh, we've got this. Like that shouldn't be I don't think that should be the conversation in anything. It's not. We've got this. We're gonna win this. It's like we're gonna win this by doing this, and this. Like we're not just gonna leave this up to fate. We're gonna leave this up to the fact that like we've gone through these set plays all week. We've gone through these passing drills. We've run these lines. We've run these sequences. We've played around with this scenario. It's just like let's recognize all these things, and that's how we're gonna win it. Not just say we're gonna win it without any kind of context behind of like what your role is in that situation to win it. And I think sometimes some boys think like that. St. Thomas could have won that game. But I feel like they let it go one too many times that it then became a problem, and then it became a situation that they couldn't get back. And so that's one thing that I thought was pretty harsh about that situation in that game. And it's probably pretty hard to kind of get through. Anyways, I want to try and keep this short. I know I say that all the time, but let's try and keep this under 50 minutes. So if we went through the top 10, Kings winning over St. Paul's. Pretty good score actually, 31-17. St. Paul's has got a team too. And I think it kind of that game there really announces that they're a proper team and they're not like a league team anymore. And I don't think St. Paul's can use that excuse anymore that we're just league boys. I actually think that like your league boys can play rugby and your coaching staff is too good to go, oh, we've just got league boys. It's like, nah, I think you guys got some good rugby boys with some good coaching and you guys know what you're doing. So even though Kings won 31-17, I think that's like a really good score by St. Paul's and good progression. I think St. Kennigan's winning 17-3 over Kelson, and Kelson's one of those teams too that's just kind of rebuilding. They're supposed to be a reload team. This year looks like they're rebuilding, and they have all the talent. It's just these boys have to put it together. I don't know what's going on with Mags, and it's sad to see. And comments that I've heard from other people is that Mags need to be taught how to think rugby and have a higher IQ of rugby, because it looks like sometimes they don't know what they're doing. And this is what spectators, people from Mags, people around, some of the talent guys that I talk to and agents that I talk to and stuff, that's just the general consensus, is that their rugby IQ is only so far, and that's not the boys' fault. It's more of a coaching and development. That's what they're there to teach them, and that's just what I've heard. I haven't seen them yet. I'll be seeing them soon, so hopefully I can go to a game where they really fire up and put everything into it. But losing 32-7 to Sacred Heart's not a good look, and I was told that Sacred Heart maybe left 2 or 3 tries out there, so it's not a good sign. Fielding winning 86-3 over St. John's Hastings. Christchurch boys in stack, 33-17. Westlake boys did a double on this last week and put up 71-17 over Orewa. St. Peter's beating Grammar. If someone's got the game, please send it to me because I really want to watch that one. And the rankings, Auckland Grammar was sitting at 13 and St. Peter's was sitting at 17. It's not that far. So, that's somewhat of an upset, I guess. I think, kind of. Palmy Boys beating Silverstream 35-32. Southland Boys beating the only second 15. That's, whatever. Kings High School, which I think is the biggest. That's probably the biggest team that I think everyone should want to play. They're winning 63-7 over John McGlashan. Kings High School, I think that they need a bit more respect put their way nationally by everyone else around the country. Christ College win 38-37 over Rangiora. One of those scores that I don't understand. I've got the game, so I'm gonna really have a watch of that and see what happened. I know yellow cards were involved, and so we'll see. We'll see, because 37 points is a lot. Liston still on their run, 34-11 over De La Salle. Rosmini winning 31-12 over Massey. Lindisfarne again getting a win over Wesley College, 28-26. Selwyn combined, beating St. Bede's. That Miles Toyota Premiership is so close. Like that competition needs a lot more attention in terms of games being shown around the country, because I'd love to watch these guys play. I'd love to watch it. Put them on every single week. Put those games on YouTube every single week, and so that we can see what talent they have. And I still reckon that, I think Waimea should have probably been added, as well as Timaru boys. I think they should be added as well. But good on you, Salem. Congrats. That's a really big win. And in terms of upsets, Salem beating St. Bede's is solid, but Dunstan High School beating Otago Boys is way more impressive than anything else that I've seen. I used to think that Hibs beating Wellington College was bad. The first time that I saw it was 2017 or something like that. But this one, Dunstan High School beating Otago Boys, to me, right up there. And it's such a hard one to sort of understand, and so I'm going to get that game and I'm going to watch it and see what happened. But, man, that's a hard one. Mahurangi losing to Whangarei Boys, 38-27, pretty much what it is. Rangitoto winning for 28-15 over Takapuna. Dilworth getting a big win too, 59-29 over Bonnie Downs. And Dilworth's a pretty mean school. They've got a really good program. I'm really interested in this 1B though. Is Avondale just beating Otahu. I think Avondale's leading it now. Well, they're leading. It's either them or Howick leading that Pool A. And I think McLean's and Tamaki, I think, are the ones leading Pool B. And when they get those splits and seeing those, I was like, those are the teams that I want to see, get up there. Because even Tangaroa as well. Tangaroa, Avondale, Howick, those three are really strong. Tamaki, McLean's, and I would say, I don't know, it's a bit of a toss-up, because One Tree Hill's alright, so is Only Hunga, and even Old Ere and Pakuranga. They're all really good teams. And Sir Edmund Hillary Collegiate, that team comes out of nowhere sometimes too. And but yeah, really interested to see what happens in that 1B. The CNI, St. Peter's, beating Whanganui Collegiate 26-0, as well as St. John's beating Francis Douglas 23-6. Francis Douglas, putting in a double this week is not an easy thing to do. some of the boys are probably still thinking about their win over New Plymouth Boys. But Hamilton was a pretty happy place to be on Saturday with those 3 wins. St. Peter's, St. John's and Hamilton Boys. If there's if anyone has that St. Peter's Cambridge game, please send it to me so I can watch. I'm really keen to see that game. See both Whanganui and also St. Peter's too. The Manurewa Rose Hill, if someone please got that, please send that to me. I'm really keen to see that. Manurewa winning 41-5 over Rose Hill. Pukekohe beating Papakura and what was a pretty mean game too. Please someone send me that. I really want to see what that game is like because I'm really interested in Pukekohe and what they've done to bring the second wave of talent that they have. And Pukekohe has been so strong that they now have this reputation in counties as a stronger team, but also Papakura has also started putting in that work, and their under 15s have been pretty solid over the last 2 years, and those boys are just coming through. And Papakura just need belief. To me, that's what they need. They just need belief because they have so much talent there. Their big boys are some big boys and they're good running players. They got some good coaches out there, so I want to see what that game looks like and how those games translate into performance on the field and from these real talented individuals, and hopefully they turn it around, all that kind of stuff. Rototuna won in the weekend. This is in the Waikato. Rototuna got a win. Morrinsville College got a win. Just lost out to a Hamilton Boys team. Rototuna just beat a Hamilton Boys team. Cambridge beat Tokoroa 23-12, which was pretty big. Chiao Moody beat Tikawiti 45-0. Matamata also beat a Hamilton Boys team 45-0 as well. Matamata is such a strong team. They need a better competition. The talent that they have every single year. And I am still on the idea of counties, Waikato and Bay of Plenty, first 15 teams just all playing each other. And I wish the Chiefs could find a way to do this, find a way to find funding for them to do this so that they can play more even teams. Like I would want to see Cambridge and Matamata and Te Awamutu and Morrinsville and that all play Taupo, Mount Maunganui College. Like Mount Maunganui College just came up here to Cambridge. Papamoa, Aquinas as well. All play like Alfriston, Tipene when they come back up, St. Stephen's when they get to that point. All these guys all play each other and all be first 15s, so they don't have to play different second 15 or third 15 or whatever. Just all play first 15s and then have that team be another section of an under 18 Chiefs team, and just so that they can keep all the talent within this area, within this Chiefs area. And some of those regions outside of should also do the same in those other regions with those smaller schools and smaller programs. Like, give them that. I mean, Taupo lost to Rotorua Boys second 15 97-7, and Taupo was going good after like the last 3 or 4 games. They've just got wins, and then Rotorua Boys second 15, who's gonna be a problem next year when they get to first 15, because these are all some really, really young boys. Most of them are year 11s and young year 12s. That next year, the Rotorua Boys, with the boys that are already staying behind, that are year 12, and remember, Rotorua Boys first 15 have got a bunch of year 12 boys in there. And when you put these young boys from the second 15 up to the first 15, Rotorua Boys got 3 solid years of just a real mean first 15, and their under 15 program is what's feeding it. John Paul College lost to Rotorua Boys third 15. Mount Maunganui College beat Te Puke 41-10. Te Taumata lost to second 15 Tauranga Boys. Western Heights beat Whakatane 17-10. Papamoa beat Barbarians 66-14, which is like Otamotai. That's what the Barbarians team is. Central, this is in Taranaki. Central beat Inglewood 49-5. Waitara beats the third 15 from New Plymouth Boys 26-22. Going down to Wellington, Kapiti College, they beat Aotea College, which was a big surprise. I actually thought Aotea was going to win that one. But that's what it is. Wairarapa beat Paraparaumu 52-19. Taita College beat Upper Hutt College 59-12. Onslow just lost to the Silverstream 3rd-15. Hutt Valley beat Porirua 50-20. St. Bernard's won 44-12 over Mana College. And then Rongotai beat Tawa College 31-24. I actually want to see Hutt Valley, St. Bernard's, Rongotai, Tawa, Mana, and Wairarapa all in the top one. I think they need to make it a little bit bigger. Scots College is not that great this year. Like, got to kind of understand that. Rongotai is closer to Wairarapa, Tawa, Hutt Valley, St. Bernard's. They're closer to them than they are closer to Cole, Stream, and Town. So, like, I think if you add more in it, you get more of a competition out of it. That's what I think, anyway. And I would like to see them make that top grade a little bit bigger and a little bit more teams. Waimea combined, they won 66-12 against Christ College Seconds. Aoraki combined, they beat Cashmere combined 33-17. Ashburton combined lost to Christchurch Boys 2nd-15. And Timaru beat St. Bede's 2nd-15 66-7, which is the reason why I think Timaru Boys should be up in the first. Again, Dunstan beating Otago Boys 22-19. Mount Aspiring beating Otago Boys 2nd-15 24-15. Wakatupu had a massive win over Tyree College of 84-10. Hopefully I can get to send that game too, because I really want to watch that one. Cromwell losing to 2nd-15 of King's High School. And there's a few boys on that Cromwell team that I want to see, so hopefully I can get that footage of that game, or some footage throughout the year. Same thing with Central Southern College. They beat John McGlashan 2nd-15 74-5. And I kind of think that Central Southern College, Waitaki Boys, South Otago High School, as well as St. Kevin's, I think that they're all a bit closer to John McGlashan than John McGlashan, because John McGlashan's a bit weaker this year, but their competition is going to be really close. Wakatipu and Mount Aspiring, all really good teams, and so that competition down there in the south is going to be pretty solid. That Division 2 maroon and blue is a really solid competition too, and so when they split them off into the higher and lower, it's going to be interesting. Anyways, I'm Herschel Farrell from High School Top 200. I'm 4 minutes under an hour. I'm really sorry. Talk too much, I know. Love you all. Later, Bob.